Close your eyes and imagine a Britain of brown-tiled kitchens, patterned carpets, and the faint hum of Radio 2 on a Sunday morning. It's the 1970s, a time when the nation's plates were full of bold experiments, convenience marvels, and curious creations born of post-war optimism and tinned innovation. From prawn cocktails served in glass dishes to neon pink Angel Delight, British food in the 70s wasn't just about taste, it was about change. It was the flavor of a country discovering modern comfort, one casserole, trifle, and instant pudding at a time. Number 1. The mighty prawn cocktail. No starter defined the 1970s quite like the prawn cocktail. It was the crown jewel of every dinner party. A symbol of sophistication served in a stemmed glass, garnished with a wedge of lemon and a sprinkle of paprika. Marie Rose sauce, that creamy pink mixture of mayonnaise, ketchup, and a hint of Worcestershire, was Britain's flirtation with continental glamour. Hostesses would carefully arrange the prawns atop shredded lettuce, often alongside a glass of chilled Chablis, feeling quite cosmopolitan indeed. For many, it was their first taste of something that felt foreign, yet familiar, sweet, tangy, and utterly British in execution. Even now, one bite can take you back to an era of patterned tablecloths, fondue sets, and ABBA playing faintly on the record player. The prawn cocktail wasn't just a dish, it was an introduction to aspiration, the 1970s version of culinary chic. Number 2. Spotted dick and custard. Before microwaves and instant desserts took hold, one pudding held its ground: spotted dick. A steamed sweet sponge speckled with raisins or currants. Its name raised smirks from children and adults alike. But the taste, warm, comforting, and blanketed in thick custard, was the true delight. In the 70s, tins of Bird's custard sat proudly in cupboards across the nation. Mothers would whisk it up from powder, the sweet vanilla scent filling the air. The pudding itself carried a rustic nostalgia, the echo of school dinners and simpler times. Whether served at home or in the canteen, it represented the soul of British comfort food. Hearty, humble, and steeped in tradition, spotted dick survived the fashionable fads of the decade, the vol au vent, the quiches, and the gateau, reminding everyone that, even as Britain embraced modernity, there was still room for the comforting warmth of the old ways. Number 3. The cheese and pineapple hedgehog. At any respectable 1970s gathering, from office doughs to birthday buffets, there it stood, the cheese and pineapple hedgehog, a foil-covered half of a grapefruit or potato, bristling with cocktail sticks, skewering cubes of cheddar and chunks of pineapple. It was playful, kitschy, and irresistibly British. Guests would pluck a stick between sips of baby cham, chatting under the glow of patterned lampshades and shag carpeting. The combination, sharp cheese meeting sweet fruit, was a revelation in its day. This party centerpiece wasn't about flavor complexity, it was about joy. It embodied the optimism of the times, when presentation mattered and anything on a stick felt glamorous. It was DIY catering at its finest, quick to make, cheerful to look at, and impossible not to smile at. The cheese and pineapple hedgehog remains a symbol of the decade's charm, whimsical, social, and delightfully odd. Number 4. Vesta curry, a taste of the exotic. In the 70s, Britain's curiosity for international food was growing, and the Vesta curry was the gateway. Sold in colourful boxes from every supermarket, these dehydrated meal kits promised adventure, an authentic Indian experience, straight from the packet. For many families, this was their first taste of curry, a mild, slightly sweet concoction that bore only a passing resemblance to what we'd call curry today. It arrived with rice that fluffed up in boiling water and a sauce mix that filled kitchens with its distinctive spicy aroma. The Vesta range, from chow mein to paella, painted a picture of global exploration without leaving the dinner table. In truth, it was convenience food with flair, a symbol of Britain dipping its toes into the wider culinary world. While today it might seem quaint, back then it was revolutionary, the smell of curiosity, powdered and packed for the suburban home cook. Number 5. Angel Delight, magic in a packet. Few sounds were as thrilling to a British child in the 70s as the rustle of an Angel Delight packet. This instant whipped dessert, available in flavors like strawberry, butterscotch, and banana, was pure magic in powdered form. Add milk, whisk, and within minutes, a fluffy mousse appeared, light as air and impossibly sweet. It wasn't just a dessert, it was a treat that made weeknights special. Advertisements captured its joy perfectly, children grinning as pink swirls of delight appeared in glass bowls. For busy parents, it was effortless indulgence. For children, it was color, flavor, and comfort. Angel Delight encapsulated the innocence of the 1970s, when simplicity was enough to bring wonder. Today, it may seem a relic of convenience, but for those who grew up with it, one spoonful is an instant ticket back to an orange and brown kitchen where life felt delightfully uncomplicated. Number 6. The Full English Breakfast, 1970s edition. While many dishes came and went, one remained eternal, the full English breakfast. But in the 70s, it carried a certain ritualistic pride. A proper fry-up meant eggs sizzling in lard, bacon with a crisp edge, sausages plump and browned, and baked beans spooned generously from a tin of Heinz. Black pudding was optional, but toast was essential, often spread with butter so thick it melted instantly. It was a meal to start the day right, whether eaten in a transport cafe before work or as a Sunday family treat. There was something deeply communal about it. The smell of frying filling the house, the sound of a kettle whistling, the slow, satisfying rhythm of breakfast done properly. In a decade of processed convenience, the full English stood as a proud link to tradition, hearty, honest, and unmistakably British. Number 7. Arctic Roll, the frozen showstopper. When it came to desserts, the Arctic Roll was the crown jewel of the freezer aisle, a swirl of vanilla ice cream wrapped in a soft sponge and coated with raspberry jam. It was a marvel of engineering and taste. Brought to life by Bird's Eye, the Arctic Roll was both elegant and efficient. Simple to slice, beautiful to serve, and endlessly satisfying. Mothers adored its reliability, and children adored its drama, that perfect spiral revealed with each cut. It was the dessert of choice for birthdays and Sunday lunches alike, a symbol of a nation embracing the wonders of frozen convenience. In an age before tiramisu or chocolate fondant, the Arctic Roll was pure joy on a plate, a nostalgic reminder that sometimes the simplest pleasures are the sweetest. Number 8. Quiche Lorraine, continental sophistication. By the mid-70s, Britain was looking across the channel for culinary inspiration. Enter quiche Lorraine, an elegant French tart that became a staple at dinner parties and buffets. With its buttery pastry, smoky bacon, and creamy egg filling, it was the very image of continental sophistication. Home cooks took pride in making or reheating their quiches, often serving them cold alongside salad and a glass of wine. For some, it felt daring, a break from the meat and two veg tradition. Supermarkets began stocking them in abundance, and suddenly, continental dining was within everyone's reach. Quiche Lorraine captured the spirit of change in 1970s Britain, a desire to feel worldly, cultured, and modern. And yet, for all its French airs, it found a permanent home on British tables, where it still appears today. A quiet reminder of the decade when Britain first learned to flirt with sophistication. Number 9. Heinz tinned spaghetti, a taste of everyday comfort. Few things felt more quintessentially British than opening a tin of Heinz spaghetti, served on toast or alongside sausages. It was the taste of easy comfort, soft, tomatoey, and oddly satisfying. In the 1970s, convenience ruled. Families juggled busier lives, and tins were the quiet heroes of the kitchen cupboard. Heinz spaghetti was cheap, cheerful, and ready in minutes, perfect for after-school snacks or quick suppers in front of the television. There was something wonderfully predictable about it. The warm scent of tomato sauce, The familiar orange hue and the way it clung to buttered toast. It was nostalgia served hot, a reminder that food didn't need to be fancy to be loved. For many, the sound of a tin opener and the first spoonful of spaghetti was home itself. Number 10. Black Forest. Gateau, the party dessert of the decade. If the 1970s had a single dessert that embodied indulgence, it was the Black Forest gateau. Layers of chocolate sponge, whipped cream and cherries soaked in kirsch. It was the ultimate showstopper. Imported from Germany and quickly adopted by British households, the gateau became a star of dinner parties and restaurant menus alike. Its dark richness and boozy undertones made it feel daringly decadent. For those who grew up then, it wasn't just a cake, it was an event. Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer competed to perfect their versions, and families would serve it proudly, often with a flourish of extra cream. It marked a turning point, the moment British desserts began to embrace a sense of theatre. Today, even the mention of Black Forest gateau evokes candlelit tables, laughter, and a time when indulgence was something to be celebrated. The food of the 1970s may raise a few smiles today. Its colours brighter, its flavours simpler, its ideas occasionally eccentric. Yet behind every dish lies a story of a nation in transition, discovering, adapting, and learning to enjoy itself again. These were meals made not just for sustenance, but for sharing, for families gathered around formica tables, for friends dressed in flares, for moments when the world outside seemed uncertain, but dinner was always certain to please. So, whether you remember the tang of a prawn cocktail or the wobble of a pink Angel Delight, one truth remains: the taste of the past lingers longest in memory. Thank you for watching Britain Rewind. If these flavors brought back a smile or a story of your own, do share it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more journeys through Britain's delicious past.